Yeah, calculate the cost of merchandise acquired. Next. So get ready with your pen and paper. In the next slide we are coming up with a question for you. So what is the cost of merchandise? Invoice price plus inbound transportation charges minus any offsetting discounts. And what are the kind of transportation charges that are paid? So basically the freight charges, which can be, these are called Incoterms. What are they called? Incoterms. FOB is free on board. So free on board till destination. Free on board till destination means the seller will bear the cost. Free on board till shipping point means the buyer will bear the cost, right? That till the point of shipping it is free, but thereafter you have to bear the cost of shipping. And this is in freight inward or inward transportation is an additional cost of the goods acquired, right? Because the transportation cost also has to be considered. In the last 10-15 minutes of the day, we will also look at manufacturing firms, but for the time being let us continue with a trading kind of a firm. Next. So, though have you skipped a slide? I think so. Acha, हाँ ये वाला. So this is the question. Hello, everyone start solving. Everyone please solve, pen and paper out. So what's the question? The question is this. Opening stock is 100,000, purchase is 990k, purchase return is 80k and closing stock is 140k. The first line states the question, plus consider that the closing stock is 140k. Yeah? Calculate the cost of goods sold. Everyone calculate. So this line is showing the question, plus I am just adding one more thing called closing stock is 140k. Calculate the cost of goods sold. You have 1 minute. I am giving you all 1 minute. I will be back in a minute. Cost of goods sold calculate karo everyone right now and don't talk. Hello. क्या करके आ गए? All well? Yeah. So, it's done for all? Yes. क्या था? Opening stock 100. Purchase, what is net purchase? Purchase minus purchase return is net purchase how much? 910 minus ending inventory is 140k. So cost of goods sold is 100 plus 910 minus 140 equal to 870. Everyone clear on that? Very simple, right? It's over. Okay. So now let us draw the ledger accounts for this case, for under the perpetual case. Go to the next slide. So draw the ledger accounts under the perpetual. You already know the journal entries, right? So journal entries are known. Draw the ledger account. हो गया? डन? ले बताओ, बहुत टाइम नहीं है, जल्दी करो, फटाफट करो. बड़ा सिंपल है, राइट? इट्स वेरी सिंपल. So inventory, what was the opening balance? 100. Purchase was 990. 80 was purchase return, and this closing balance is 140. So the cost of goods sold is 870, which goes there, right? Everyone is done, right? And what is the? Let us assume that when we did a physical check of inventory, as per our records, inventory is how much? As per our records, inventory is 140. Na? Cost of goods sold is 870. Closing stock is how much? 140, right? But when we checked it physically, physical check, we realized only 135k of inventory is there. So there is actually a loss. As per records, it was 140k, but as per physical check, 135k. How do you account for this 5k? A loss has to be recorded, right? And what we will call it? Inventory shrinkage cost or inventory shrinkage expense, whatever, 5. And inventory account is credited. Why? Because the cost of inventory will go down from 140 to 135. So inventory account is credited. This is simple, right? Next. Now let us look at the difference between the perpetual versus the periodic record. This is very important. This slide is very important because it is showing the difference between perpetual versus periodic record. Under perpetual, when we buy, what did we say? Inventory account is debited, accounts payable is credited, right? What are we doing under periodic? We don't say inventory account debited, we say purchase account debited and accounts payable credited. When we have any returns, we say, we just reverse this. Account payable is debited, inventory is credited, though in case B, case A case B is the reversal of case A. So entry is also the reverse. Here we will say account payable was credited, so we debit it. We don't debit credit purchase, we create a new account called purchase returns and allowances, right? We can technically, so it's called as purchase return, right? As goods are sold, the moment we sell goods, cost of goods sold is recorded and inventory account is credited, and here there is no entry. Do you see that? That sale for inventory. When we sell good, cash to sales or account receivable to sales will anyways be recorded. When we sell goods, cash account debited to sales or account receivable debited to sales will always be recorded. That goes without saying, right? The question is, what do we do for inventory under the perpetual system? The moment we sell, I was saying the selling price is 100 and cost price is 80. AR, account receivable to sales 100 or cash to sales 100 will anyways be recorded. But under perpetual, immediately a journal entry will be posted, which is taking into account that the inventory balance has gone down by 80 rupees because the cost was 80. So we will say cost of goods sold debited 80 to inventory 80. And in this case, we already know from our calculations and our workings that the cost of goods sold was 870. So in this case, we say cost of goods sold debited 870 to inventory credited 870. But under periodic, there is no entry at this time. Under periodic, the equivalent entry will be passed at the end of the accounting period. Here it's passed instantly. That's the reason it's called as perpetual record. Right now I know what is my cost of goods sold. Right now I know how much inventory I have. Right? After every, think of hundreds of transactions. After every transaction I would know this is how much inventory I have, this is my cost of goods sold. This is how much profit I am making. Think of it after hundreds of transactions because there is no entry. Now you are clueless. Now you are clueless how much is the cost of goods sold, how much is the inventory, right? So that's the reason it's called as a periodic system, that at the end of the accounting period you calculate what is my cost of goods sold, what is my inventory balance. And at the end of the accounting period, as it is like a student who was preparing throughout the year. So he doesn't have to study too much during the exam and then compare that student with yourself, right? Because throughout the semester I didn't study. So now at the end of the accounting period, you have to study a lot, right? So your exams are anyways coming. It was just a gentle reminder. Yeah. So you have understood which category you all fall into, right? Not understood, you know yourself since childhood, right? You all know yourself since childhood. So at the end of the accounting period, we will pass an entry. What is the entry? Cost of goods sold debit. And look at this. This is net purchase. These two jointly represent the net purchase of 910. This is opening inventory. Opening inventory plus net purchase minus closing inventory represents the cost of goods sold. Opening inventory plus net purchase minus closing inventory represents the cost of goods sold. Look at it, cost of goods sold 870 hai. Look at the net impact. How much is the cost of goods sold? 870. Look at the entire thing. 1010 debit, 140 credit, net is how much? 870. What is the figure here? Cost of goods sold is 870. Are you seeing that? So cost of goods sold, at the end it doesn't matter whether you used perpetual or periodic. At the end it does not matter because the record will still be the same, right? But this is the difference in the two methods. And what is the, so everyone please pass the entries immediately, jaldi karo, and then pass the ledger accounts, prepare the ledger accounts, yeah. So under both the systems, pass the journal entry and then prepare the ledger account, and you only have 6 minutes, yeah, for all journal entries and all ledger. So previous ledger accounts you have prepared under perpetual. This is the ledger account under the periodic, right? What happened? हाँ, ये ओपनिंग बैलेंस था क्या? नहीं समझ में आया।
वो कैसे आया?
वो तो दिया हुआ है ना, ओपनिंग बैलेंस इज गिवन एज ओपनिंग बैलेंस।
उसके बेसिस पर से COGS 870 कैसे आया या पीरियडिक में? वो
वही तो कैलकुलेशन किया था ना अभी। व्हेन आई वेंट आउट यू ऑल कैलकुलेटेड दैट
फ्रॉम पीरियडिक रिकॉर्ड।
हाँ, कैलकुलेशन तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना। वो जो वर्किंग किया था वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा। तो उसमें आया तो था, तो वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा भैया, वो कैलकुलेशन तो करना ही पड़ेगा। सो इट डजेंट मैटर कि एंट्री क्या पास किया, यू स्टिल हैव टू कैलकुलेट कि ओपनिंग स्टॉक प्लस परचेज माइनस क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इक्वल टू कॉस्ट ऑफ गुड्स सोल्ड। सो दैट मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन यू हैव टू डू एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स ऑल ऑफ दिस इज देयर। वो तो करना पड़ेगा। वो तो उसमें तो आया था ना, वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा। See, the working also has to be done. Without working, you won't be able to arrive at a situation, right? So that working, opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock is cost of goods sold. That working you have to do. Is everyone writing?
Yes, sir. I'm done, sir.
Hello, you don't have to observe. You are writing, na? Okay. हाँ दिखाओ दिखाओ. हाँ चेक करो भाई. ठीक है. At the request of the class, I am checking. है. Otherwise मैं नहीं करता. दिखाओ दिखाओ दिखाओ. हाँ तो अब start नहीं करना क्या? तो कर क्या रहे थे ऐसे?
पहले वाले दिखा दे.
हाँ दिखाओ दिखाओ. हाँ. तो इस बार क्यों नहीं किया?
सर कर रहा हूँ ना.
ये तो स्टार्ट करे. वो तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. You have to do it. तो ऑब्जर्वर स्टेटस नहीं रखना है.
थोड़ा स्लो है वो.
नहीं स्लो नहीं है. वो मस्ती कर रहा था. यस. दिखाइए क्या किया. हाँ किया 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 किया. डन. डन ना. हो गया. ओके. एनीवन हु इज नॉट डन. कर रहे हो ना प्रथम.
लेजर कर रहा हूँ सर.
हाँ करो करो. फटाफट करो यार. 126 पे मैंने बोला था. यू आर स्टार्टिंग एट 129. हो गया. हुआ. करो. नहीं हो रहा. करो. नहीं हो रहा तो सामने तो लिखा हुआ है. एक्सप्लेन करिए. हाँ तो धीरे धीरे करो. जल्दी करो. मतलब जल्दी से धीरे धीरे करो. हाँ नहीं बट करो. अपने आप करो. इसीलिए तो करवा रहे हैं ना. बिकॉज अब सिंस यू आर टेकिंग टाइम तो अब फिर असाइनमेंट देना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि फिर असाइनमेंट में थोड़ा प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगा. क्या. नहीं कल देंगे. कल देंगे. कल क्लास है. क्या. कल क्लास है. वी हैव वी हैव अ क्लास टुमारो. आई नो इट. यस. कल देंगे ना. Because see, assign. Say okay. If you want to know what is the proposed assignment, what I have in mind is solve the solved example of this chapter, inventory chapter 7. Then tomorrow we will do either revenue recognition, which is chapter 6 or something, or we will do cash flow statement, which is chapter 5. So one of the two we will do. तब बोल दूंगा कि इनके solved examples भी कर लो instead of getting bored over the weekend. Right? How much I clear? बोर्ड नहीं होना चाहिए. Right? क्या हुआ. बोर्ड नहीं हो गए ना. हो गया. Is everyone done? हुआ सरस्वती. ओके. हाँ रोशनी का है. हाँ वो रही. Anyone who is not done. चिराग हो रहा है. काजल. Completed. Completed, yes or no? Huh? This entire thing, all journal entries passed? No, Priyan is very serious. नहीं पहले हम लास्ट में देखेंगे कर क्या रहे हैं. दिखाओ जर्नल एंट्रीज दिखाओ सारी. ओके. एंड वेयर इज द लेजर अकाउंट. या ओके. Priyan always does. I know. I have faith on Priyan. Faith सब पर ही है. लेकिन I have to come and period this. So this is called as वो जो auditor जो checking करते हैं they do only sample checks because they can't check everything. Do you see that? An auditor's job is to do sample check because if you start checking every single item of inventory, then you will need 10 people devoted exclusively for inventory checking, right? And that's the reason auditors can come and check, ye dikhao, wo dikhao, and so on. You can't check everyone. Finally, I have understood why Abhinay sits always in the middle. There is no way I can reach her. Right? Finally, I have understood. Next. So, this is exactly the same. This is exactly the same as what we have already done, right? This is in the form of a slide. There, in the last 3 slides, I had copy pasted from the book, right? Next. Again, this is perpetual system ledger accounts, which we have already seen. Next. Then minor differences in valuation determined by physical count and perpetual record due to clerical error or shrinkage. So it will, then we have to adjust the inventory, and we have already seen the inventory shrinkage as in this case was 5 rupees, right? So what was the entry we passed? Inventory shrinkage 5, debited, inventory account credited 5. Next. Then this is under periodic system. These are the ledger accounts under the periodic system which we have all prepared. Next. Yeah, done. Next. So, this is okay. So, I have anyways reviewed this at the beginning. We have actually done this part earlier, right? We have already done this part earlier, and I have just reviewed it for you. And I mentioned, by the way, I may have forgotten to mention, so this is the case of inflation, because the first jug was bought at 10 rupees and the second jug was bought at 20 rupees. So this is a case of inflation, right? So under inflation we said FIFO will give a higher profit and balance sheet is strong, LIFO will give a lower profit and balance sheet is weak, and weighted average is somewhere in the middle, right, because we are taking average. And then specific identification, we have to specifically look at the cost of that thing, right. So this is for the case of inflation, which is rising prices. What if the prices are falling? Then reverse will happen. If the prices are falling, then the reverse case will happen, but that is you have to do yourself. You just solve it yourself and you will see that exactly the reverse case will happen, which you can anyways understand intuitively, right. Next. Acha, skip 7-8 slides, go to slide number 37. Since we have already done LIFO, FIFO, weighted average and specific identification methods, so we will not discuss them anymore. The only thing that we need to discuss is whatever method we choose for inventory valuation, it should be applied consistently over time. Only then the results of year 1 and the results of year 2 and year 3 are comparable. Because if you keep changing the inventory method, then we will not be able to compare the years. Do you see that? And change in inventory method is justifiable if there is a change in market condition. Auditor has to approve your change, and note of change in financial statements required. Note as in, as a result of change in the method of valuation of inventory, as a result of a change in the method of valuation of inventory, this is the impact on profit. This is the impact on profit. Yeah, next. Yeah.